All right, Joel Gausten here from joelgausten.com. Keeping with my New Jersey theme, I seem to be following quite a bit these days. I want to welcome a real New Jersey motherfucker, a dear friend of mine, and an old bandmate of mine from Jersey, Jersey Pete.
Hey,
You know,
how
man,
y'all? Is
I'm not drinking booze or whatever that is. I've got coffee going here.
is good. It's late, man. You're having coffee now. You're never gonna go to bed.
I work in media, man. We don't go to
I,
sleep ever.
right.
So how have you been?
Peachy, man. Just hanging in there. How about yourself?
About the same, pretty much all we can do, right? Take it day
Yeah.
by day and hope nothing falls on our heads from a great height. That's pretty much it.
Or vice versa. Yeah, I've been watching your stuff lately, man. I watched Emilio's the one you did yesterday, actually. I did his part one, and I watched Tim his the other day, and I don't think I've seen Tim since he did your podcast thing, but man, he did a pretty good job. It was good. I enjoyed it. Don't tell him I said that though.
Yeah, because he won't be watching this
No,
whatsoever.
no, and he'll get a big head about it, and then I had to fucking try to deflate him a little bit.
Well, look, we can't allow Tim to get all the attention here, so I had to bring you on. And I'm glad you liked the Emilio episode. We're going to do a part two soon.
That'd be good. Well, I could probably get up to a part 10 because trying to follow where he was going was fucking hell. Everything was like, it brought me right back because it's like every fucking conversation I've ever had with Emilio. It's exactly like that. It's all over the place, but it goes in varying directions. If you put him and Joe Rogan in a fucking room, I'm not sure either one will ever come out.
No, no. Love Emilio. So we're going to do a part two, which will be more kind of like our years there, you know,
That'd be good.
the rise of New Jersey Oi and that whole thing and all the fun fights that happened at the pipeline. But
It's
we don't know anything about that. That never
no,
happened.
no, man. That rise, it's fucking amazing to me, nowadays where things are and all the fucking great bands that came through the pipeline, and most of them, like, they're known, like people have heard of them or whatever, but like they don't know them like they should, like certain bands especially. Everybody knows Wretched Ones, everyone knows Bike 77, everyone knows Casualties, right? But like, what about Head Wound? Fucking Head Wound's incredible, and many, many, many others. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I know those old ads pop up on Facebook. I've posted a few of them myself over the years.
yeah,
Duncan posted one the other day. It was like a 2 month calendar or something like that. And it's amazing when you look back at the bands that were playing back then. And you're right. There's a lot of those bands that in 2024 need to be acknowledged more, you know, because they were,
well, time has come. I think all our time is kind of come and gone, but we're still here and we play for each other. It's just, I described it this way, and Chad said something to me once. Chad from Blank 77. I said something about the New Jersey Oi family, or it's our family, or something like that. He's like, I really like that because it is. It's true. We've all known each other, including yourself, for fucking hey, man, 30 some odd years, more than that. It's incredible, but it's a family, and we always get back together. You were here at my place last year for the pig roast, and everybody was here.
yeah,
Thora moved into my pool for the day. She said, I'm not leaving, and she didn't.
yeah, that was a great time.
I live here. That's it. I live here. Okay. All right, cool. I'll bring you up a burger.
Yeah, that was a great day. And you're right. I made that point when Tim was on that
Yeah.
largely the same people. I mean, we've lost some people along the way, and we'll get into some of that a little later. But it's nice to see that scene, sort of outlived the clubs, because a lot of the clubs aren't standing anymore. They
Correct.
outlived the labels because a lot of the labels have stopped working.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the people, which is kind of what it's always been, regardless of what platform we were using
Yeah.
to hang out. Now we just hang out at your place. We don't have to go to the pipeline, you know?
Well, shit, man, we were all hanging out at Stanhope House for a while, and then all the pipeline people, we were all hanging out at Connections for a while, and then we're all hanging out at, I mean, it's always just the same people, and it moves different places, and that's kind of like you said, that's the beauty of it. It's the people. It's not the. I mean, it is the music, but it's not the box that you're in. It's the people that are in it with you. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right, absolutely. So to give people watching who may not be familiar with you, a proper
Not familiar
introduction.
with me. Fucking A.
That's right. How could they not know you, right?
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But
Anybody not from New Jersey who's watching this, uh,
yeah,
Pete has been the longtime guitarist in the band Broken Heroes,
not
uh,
original.
not original but longtime member of Broken Heroes, and that was a band that I drummed in a couple of times over the years.
Yep.
So I've known Pete probably 25, 30 years maybe. Pete's still very active in Broken Heroes. He's been a fixture of the New Jersey punk and oi scene since the early 90s. So let's back up even before then, Pete. Tell me about how you first got interested in music to begin with and how that led to you deciding to be a guitar player.
I think. All right. So, what got me into music to begin with? Like the early part of my life was, spent in the back seat of my parents' car. It was a Dodge Duster, Plymouth Duster. Excuse me, 1972, I think, and it was green. It was frog green, and I lived in the back seat of it with no seatbelt on, and and listening to fucking awful AM, like late 70s, early 80s music, and I fucking hated it. I just heard, what was the song I just heard the other day that made me want to just go on a fucking murdering spree? Oh, The Things You Do for Love. The Things You Do for Love. I heard it. It got stuck in my head for 2 days, and I just wanted to kill everybody because what fucking vanilla asshole wrote that shit? You know what I mean? That's what I hated. Then my buddy in second grade introduced me to Ozzy Osbourne and AC/DC, and I was like, "Wow, this is different. Like this is powerful. This is something." Especially AC/DC. I still love AC/DC to today. There's nothing like the sound of Angus in a fucking SG. Um, and that led me down a while for a couple years, and then in like fourth grade, I met Bob Gardner. Bob. I still know Bob. He's one of my best friends. He lives up in upstate New York now. He's been in a band with me that we were talking about earlier, Vibram 94. He was in that playing drums for a while. But I met him, and he was like a skater, like not a good skater, but he was a skater. And he introduced me to my friend Kent Shuda. And do you know Kent? You got to know Kent. You don't know Kent? Oh man, you guys would go on a tear if you knew each other. Anyway, just talking about this and that all the way down. He's very artistic, uh, excellent guy. But you seen the movie Mid '90s? Have you seen that movie?
No, no, no.
That was actually a really fucking good movie, and that's about a pack of kids. Well, it's about this kid that he's a latchkey kid. He's got an older brother who beats the shit out of him. His mother goes to work every day. She's struggling to make ends meet. She barely spends any time with the kids, whatever. And he's just out trying to do it on his own. And he winds up running into these skate kids. He's watching them, and he kind of wants to approach them and hang out with them. And he eventually does. And there's one kid that is kind of the leader of their skate crew. He doesn't act like a leader. He kind of acts like a leader, but he's not like, he didn't like demand like I'm the boss like that. He's just the guy that everybody looks up to, and that was my Kent. Essentially, Kent was a dude that everybody looked up to because Kent knew all this shit about punk rock, and he started introducing me to things like the Dead Kennedys and the Sex Pistols and SO. Believe it or not, it's not really punk rock, but SOD of all things, because I really liked heavy music. So SOD really appealed to me because that first fucking album was brutal. That intro is just, you know, it's like a fucking army coming after you. I loved it. Anyway, he got me into punk rock, and well, all of us got into punk rock and skateboarding, and we were skating and listen. We'd bring music with us, and we'd skate and listen to punk rock. And let's see, like all the early shit that everybody listens to, right? The real standard stuff. It was all Circle Jerks, Black Flag, Dead Kennedys, all of that stuff. Not a whole lot of, you know, Ramones, the Clash. Not a lot of like English stuff, except for like the Clash, the Pistols, and like some of the bigger names out there. I hadn't gotten into Oi yet, right? It was all mostly American punk rock that I was really into, and a lot of what was originally called hardcore, which was like Circle Jerk, Black Flag, shit like that. So go down the line, and I became Mr. Punk Rocker. I got into the Exploited, right? So I had a big fucking mohawk. I had an epic mohawk because my hair is straight. It is pin straight, and I could put the fucker up like that, and it was like a razor blade. I could cut somebody with it. And I just fell deep into punk, and I started hanging out at the mall, which is what we did back in those days, right? There was no fucking internet. None of us could drink, so we would go hang out at a Rockaway Mall. And at the Rockaway Mall, there was a bunch of punk rockers over there. Well, it was less punk rockers, but a whole pack of skinheads that hung out there. And the very first time I remember meeting these guys, first off, they were fucking terrifying to me, right? Because I was just a punk rock guy, and here's these skinheads, and all I've ever heard about skinheads is they're fucking racist and they're bad people, and they just go around beating everybody up. And only one of those things is untrue. And that's the racist part, because one of the guys in this group of skinheads that I met was a guy named Gary Reeves. And Gary he was half white, half black, skinhead. And I was like, well, wait a minute. Like, I started asking, like, how can he be a skinhead? It doesn't make any sense to me, because I've always heard that they're all racist, and like that doesn't make any sense. Then I got the whole history lesson that not all skinheads should get, but don't all get. Back in the day anyway. It's not really around anymore, but like, you know, you learn about where it came from, and it was the black working class rude boys from Jamaica that came to England, and the white working class mods that were stuck in England, and it was a bad time, economic downturn, nobody had any money, and these guys would hang out and dance together, and they were both very violent, and you know, they loved to go to their football games and whatnot and beat the shit out of each other, and then they all shaved their heads, and this hodgepodge of black and white became skinheads, and they all listened to reggae because that was the influence from Jamaica. And it's like, well, you know, after I learned that, then it was like, well, fuck, that's actually really cool, you know, and well, maybe I want to be a skinhead. So next thing you know, I'm hanging around with these guys, and I shaved my head. And then I started hanging out at the mall again. Of course, this big guy, Gary, he was the leader of that crew. He checked me, and I remember that day. He came up and he's like, yo, I heard you hanging out with these fucking Nazis out over this way. And I was like, what are you talking about, man? I hang out with you guys. No, you and me outside now. We're going to fucking go take care of this right now. And I was like, oh my God, like this guy's going to kill me. And I was terrified. But I got up and said, fine, let's fucking go. And I went outside with him. As soon as we got outside, I guess I passed the test, because the test was, are you going to get up? And it wasn't just Gary. I mean, it was the other guys too. Like, they were going to beat the shit out of me. They were like threatening me. They were going to beat the shit out of me. All right, let's go. And that's what they wanted to see. They wanted to see that level of, you got, fine, fuck it, let's go. I'll fucking stand up for myself. And that's what it was always about, was standing up for yourself, and having pride in yourself. Mm-hmm. that was such a huge lesson in, like, just in my life in general, is that, you may not be the biggest guy in a room. Um, and I don't mean physically the biggest guy in a room, but just the biggest guy in a room on anything. But if you just believe that you can fucking do what you got to do, chances are you can do it. And if not, everyone else will think you can do it. So fuck it. um, so going down that line, that's also where I met old Timmykins of mine, my hetero life mate Tim, and he was playing in a band called Violent Age at the time, and I went to go see them over at Obsessions of all places. That's where, yeah, I started hanging out at Obsessions. I would go see Bitter Quarrel over there. I was a Bitter Quarrel guy. Fucking love that. Remember that song Flag they did? Fucking want to burn the flag, get out of the country. It's so brutal. Oh my god. I think about that. It just brings a smile to my face. Anyway, so that's where I met a lot of those guys, and I've known those guys the longest. And eventually, I guess Violent Age broke up, and they started Broken Heroes. And I remember I used to go see Broken Heroes with Meathead singing before I was in the band, and I remember they had a couple songs that really fucking grabbed me, but I remember one that really fucking grabbed me before I ever got to play it was "Why Must a Good Die Young," because it had that ska part in the middle, and it was just fucking perfect. It was perfect. And still to today, it's one of my favorite songs that we do. And I had nothing to do with writing it, but it was, it's one of those things. So, where were we? I guess that brings me right up into that. That's where I fell into early influences. So now I'm just hanging out with the Moleskins, right? Which their name was Equal Resistance, right? Equal being equal, meaning that we're not racist. Resistance meaning we beat the shit out of people for no reason. Anyway, they got me into they actually were listening to a lot of hardcore at the time. So like that was like before the Great Divide, right? Because there was a great divide in the hardcore scene, like early on in the hardcore scene, real early on, like Cro-Mags hardcore. All these guys were all skinheads, right? Agnostic Front, they were all skinheads and whatnot. And then somewhere along the line, there was the big divide, the big split, and half of us, me being part of this half, went more towards the traditional English side of things, where we were dressing real smart with our fucking braces and our boots, and we had collared shirts, and we dressed fucking impeccably. We would not go out unless we looked fucking top notch, but we would beat the shit out of people for no reason because it was funny. Which was one of the biggest attractions to it to me, was like, here's these guys, they look like they just got off a job interview, but don't fuck with them because it could be a problem. The other half of that went off into hardcore, and hardcore, it's really too bad that divide ever happened, because I love hardcore, I really do. But there was a time where I wouldn't go to hardcore shows, and a lot of the hardcore kids weren't coming to fucking oi shows or punk shows because we just lost a connection somewhere, and it was a connection that probably shouldn't have been lost because we were all very similar. But yeah, and actually that was something that Mickey Fitz brought up to me when the Business was probably my biggest influence in oi, because I love the Business. What a fucking great band. Mick had the greatest fucking voice in oi. He just had it was not too clean to be weak, but not too dirty to be, like real, like, gritty or whatever. Like, it wasn't gritty. Like, he still had a real great artistic sound to him. His fucking voice is incredible. And I remember I was tasked with picking them up from the airport, and we were coming home from JFK, and I said, "Hey, what do you guys want to listen to?" And they were like, "Do you have any Madball?" And I went, "Fucking Madball? Like, you guys are like the fucking lords of oi, and you want to listen to Madball? All right, here's some Madball." I put it in because I had it because I like Madball. But back then, that was when that divide was really there. And those guys couldn't understand, especially Mick, and it came out in his music. Like I feel like they came over here and we were like, wait, hardcore kids? What the fucking hardcore kids? Like, we don't, whatever, fucking hardcore kids. They get paid too much to play and they fuck the shows up because with their kung fu. And they couldn't understand why we didn't want anything to do with them and they didn't want anything to do with us. And that was when he wrote, if you listen to Spirit of Streets, he says, you know, oh, I punk, what's wrong with you? Hardcore kids are coming through. Well, you skinhead, how about you? We must unite or we'll be through, is what he said. And I remember that line because when I first heard that song, I was like, holy shit, that's about us here. You know, like that's not an English problem. That's an American problem. And he was right, you know. Now you're starting to see it kind of congeal back together again, which is fucking awesome, you know.
Well, I think we're seeing that, especially within our age group, because so many of us have been doing this for so long that if we're still doing it, our intentions are pure. You know, nobody's going to shows at 40 whatever to be cool and to like, you know, I'm in the scene now. You know,
Yeah,
we're here because we love it. So
yeah,
we're gonna look to each other and go, "Oh, you're old like me. You're cool. Like you're still doing this."
yeah,
So that helps shrink that divide too. It's like, "Oh shit, we're all first of all, we're all still alive. The people at these shows, you know,
fucking A.
and you know the difference I think now versus then is back then we would be hurting because we'd fuck each other up in the pit or get into a fight. Now we just sleep wrong and we're
Well, I try to stay on top of things. I do a lot of CrossFit, not to like, but it's only I don't do it to like be like cool or anything like that. I do it because it's like fuck, man. I'm you know, I used to fight my enemies. Now I'm fighting a guy with a fucking sickle. And it's like I'm gonna fucking fight his ass until he finally beats me. And one day he will, but he's gonna have a time of his fucking life getting to me. And that's why I try to eat right, drink right, and you know, try to stay on top of exercise and shit, man. I'm gonna be 50 years old soon. And it's like I can't fucking believe that. You know, that's whatever. I look better, you know, than my parents did at 50. I love my parents, but fucking A, man. You know, it's like you get older and it's like, you know, I don't know. I guess you see it in your generation. Like I look at kids now, they're like, oh yeah, I'm 25 years old. It's like, fuck, you look like you just got out of eighth grade. Stay the fuck away from me. Am I even allowed to talk to you? You know?
right.
So, anyway, yeah. And as far as hardcore goes, like right now, best fucking hardcore band out there right now is called End It. If you haven't heard them, they're from Baltimore. Fuck me. What a great band. Holy shit. It sounds like right out of the 90s.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So going back to your entry into Broken Heroes, you came on board for initially for the Media Blowout EP. That was your first recording with Broken Heroes, correct?
That was the first recording. Yeah. But my first time with Broken Heroes, and Tim talked about this before. I'll tell it from my point of view, just because his point of view is one thing, my point of view is another. And that was Sean Peckrell, the drummer at the time, wanted me in that band because we were great friends and he wanted me in a band. Tim was my friend too, obviously, but it was like I wasn't a fucking good guitarist. I'm still not a good guitarist. I just can get by playing what I play. Um, but Sean was trying to get me in, and then it was Chip. All of a sudden, Chip bailed out, and he couldn't go to DC to play this big fucking festival down there that Bodon from Antagonizer. Bodon is currently with Antagonizers ATL. Super guy. He's that dude has always put his fucking heart in whatever is the scene. He's always fucking put his heart and soul behind it, be it in opening music stores, in bands, putting on festivals. The things that he's done is he's always put his heart into it. Anyway, they wanted me to play this big show in DC, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, I want to do that, but I got graduation practice because I was going to graduate high school. And I was like, but if I do this, I'm not going to be allowed to graduate. So I went and talked to my vice principal, and they're like, no, there's no way around it. I can't do it for you. I was like, come on. I was like, look, I'm going to fucking go anyway. This is something that I have to do. And I guess they eventually let me do it. But I went there thinking my parents are going to hate me because I'm not going to be able to graduate with everybody else. I still graduate high school, but like I couldn't walk with this stupid hat and gown, which at the time I really didn't care about. So playing on the stage in this, and to be honest with you, that show, holy shit. If you know anybody from the 90s and they don't talk about DC in 93, that it was the Bodance thing. It was fuck, what do they call it? Fuck, it's gonna come to me. United Front is what he had. What he was calling it, and it was the United Front Skinhead Weekend, and skinheads came from all over the country. Now back then there was no internet, so all these guys get there, and yeah, it's like Chapel Hill was there, right? Patriot, those guys were all there. You had the Delaware guys, they were all there. You had Stormwatch, those guys, they were all there. You had New York, Oxblood, and Warzone, and everybody else. So obviously, we were very much attached to New York because New Jersey, New York, like that's who we knew. So we kind of stuck together and all that shit. Then California was there, and you had Houston there, you had Detroit there, you had Chicago there. It was the first time I met Sonny. Do you know who Sonny is?
No.
Everybody from Chicago knows who fucking Sonny is. Sonny was a black white power Nazi skinhead, and he had a big Confederate flag tattooed on his neck. And I think it was a Confederate flag. It was something to that regard. And when I first met this dude, I was like, holy fuck, what is this guy? Like, oh my God. Like, but he was nice. He was nice to me, but mind blown. Like, what the fuck, dude? Right? Anyway, the whole weekend went on, and it was nothing but fucking, well, it was nothing but fights all over the place. And then it ended in a giant fucking riot. And it all started because one guy goes, hey, motherfucker, you guys are a bunch of fucking Nazis. Hey, motherfucker, we're not a bunch of fucking Nazis. You're a bunch of fucking Nazis. That's it. Boom. Now all their friends come in. Chaos. And it was fucking crazy. And that was just day one. Go back to the hotel. Day two happens, and it's just as fucked. I remember we were really tired, so we left early after the show. I think it was not Sunday, it must have been Saturday night. We left a little early, went back to the room, me and Scott, and we're sleeping, and fucking Sean came in the room, the door slammed, and I jumped out. He's like, oh fuck, we gotta get out of here. I was like, what the fuck? I jumped out of bed, I threw my fucking pants and shoes on, and I start running for the door. And he's like, where are you going? I was like, dude, I thought a gunshot went off. Like the noise of the door slamming, I thought somebody got shot. So he's like, where are you going? I was like, dude, you just said we had to get the fuck out of here. He's like, no, come out here, look. And we went across the hallway and looked down, and in front of the hotel, here's this line of cops in front of the hotel. And here's this line of fucking pissed off skinheads. And they are facing off because the hotel was like, we don't want these people back in our hotel anymore, because frankly, they trashed the place. We trashed the place. I can't say I wasn't part of it. Anyway, I looked down and I went, oh my God. And sure enough, this fucking line just rushes the cops, and it goes bad. And then they stopped it. They got it all stopped. And the cops were like, look, you can't kick these people out. They have to be able to come in and get their stuff. So they're going to come in, they're going to go to sleep, and then they're going to go home. And that's it. And that was the end of it. But what a fucking crazy weekend. You couldn't fucking buy that anywhere. Go to the fucking biggest festival in the fucking world. You won't see that shit. Holy crap.
I think it was only in one riot with you guys many years later. It had to have been like 2007. So this is a ways in the future.
Oh wait, was
in
that
Delaware
the one?
Was that?
Was that the Pennsylvania one?
I
With the one with the
think,
foreskin played like fucking for an hour and a half and we didn't get to play at all.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There's
Yeah.
that one. I'm thinking the Delaware one. Remember the Delaware one?
Oh fuck yes, I do. I do remember that one. That was it's kicked off out back, right? Started out back and kind of fell into the club and just went crazy.
It was a weird day. It was what you were saying. It was like an Oi hardcore, you know, Oi band, hardcore band.
Yes, yes, I do remember
But
that.
there wasn't a lot of fucking unity that day.
No,
Um,
there
and I will say, to the very best of my recollection, without hopefully not offending anyone, it wasn't the Oi skinheads who were the problem that day,
no.
honestly.
I yeah, I mhm.
However, the Oi skinheads solved the problem.
Yes, they did. I think the quote was skinheads, we smash heads or some shit, right?
All I remember was
Fucking yelled at him.
okay. I'm going to try to replay the moment, but leave out some names because
Yes, yes, yeah. Leave out names. I
so
know you're.
I'll try to do this very tactfully.
Yes,
There was a rather large group of hardcore kids of the um, yo-yo variety. Okay.
it
Um,
seems like
this wasn't, these weren't the Cro-Mags. These were,
no.
I don't have
Right.
to describe further, but they were new school. Okay.
Yeah,
A rather sizable number of these people, and there was like three skinheads, but they were like the right or wrong kind of skinheads, depending on your perspective. So the hardcore kids, for whatever reason, were fucking with these guys, which is like sticking your finger in a pit bull's asshole. I mean, there are certain things in life you don't do. And these skinheads,
particularly down there.
what's that?
Particularly down there.
These skinheads, there must have been three of them versus 20. They went through these guys like a hot knife through butter. There,
Yep.
there was a baseball bat with wire wrapped around it. Whack, whack. And I'm like, all right, time to go, guys. One of the members of our band, who shall remain nameless, I'm not going to mention his individual's name. Um, and remember, it was dusty. There's a big dust cloud with the fight.
Oh yeah.
This bandmate of ours, who shall remain nameless, decides to jump in the middle of it. And it was like a slow motion. No, he dove in there. More dust kicks up. A few minutes later, our friend resurfaces from this fight holding somebody's hat that was in
Yeah.
the fight. Hey,
Unscathed.
I've got a new
Unscathed.
hat. Meanwhile, his hands are caked in blood. I'm like, great, can you go wash the AIDS off your hands before we leave so we can get the fuck out of here before the police come? And if I remember, we're pulling out as the cop cars were pulling in. That's Broken Heroes, man. That was
That's
a
what I loved about. I never got into fucking punk and oi or whatever, or hardcore even because it was safe. I never got into it because of that. I got into it because it wasn't so safe. I got into it because it was fucking fun. You didn't
Mhm.
know what the hell was gonna happen, right? Anytime you went to a show, especially in the fucking 90s, the early 90s and the mid 90s, you didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen. It could be I mean, it was dangerous. It could be very dangerous, but it was fun. I can't explain it. I can't explain why it's fun to do stupid shit, but it just was. I don't know.
And there were a few people who enjoyed our band during that time, sort of in that area, maybe a bit further north as well, who were of that sort of Nazi persuasion. Okay, let's put it that way. But you know what? And I don't abide by anything they stand for. You know,
No,
I think it's a stupid philosophy. Absolutely. Being part Jew myself, I'm not into that.
you're part Jew.
Yeah, only the
I
good
didn't.
part.
Oh, the good part.
And I wasn't the only one in Broken Heroes either.
No, and our new fucking guitarist is dude. He told me he's like, man. my grandfather, he escaped Auschwitz. I said, holy fucking shit. Like, your grandfather is a brutal motherfucker. Like, that dude's a hero. Holy shit.
But I remember, I look, I'm not going to sit at the bar and talk politics with these fucking people, okay?
Right.
But
Exactly.
I will say there were factions that would come to see our band, and they were cool to us,
Well,
like
their
they
mouths don't care what people think when they come to our shows. Like, it's not I've always been of the judgment that it is not my fucking job to say, okay, you can come in because you believe this, and you can stay out because you believe that. That is the crowd's job to do that.
right.
Okay. If these guys come in the fucking place and they're causing a fucking problem, or they're coming in, usually, and I know who you're talking about, these fucking guys, like, there would be some guys that would come in and they would be friendly, but they weren't wearing anything. They weren't obvious. Maybe I knew who they were. Maybe I didn't know who they were. All right, just stay there, enjoy the show, and shut the fuck up. Don't bring that shit out. Now, it's a very different time now with that shit. Like, everybody's a social fucking warrior now, and to be honest with you, a lot of times, like, when it came to that shit back in the day, especially, like, first off, we fucking solved that problem. There's no fucking Nazis around. There may be a few like old Nazi skinheads, but they're all fucking 50 and fat, and I mean, they're not a threat to anybody. They're
Right.
not a threat, right? They just want to bitch and moan, and they may do it on the internet. They're not a fucking threat anymore. Um, they're fucking gone. And there's no younger generation. There's not a lot of younger generation of real traditional skinheads coming up. So there's really not a lot of Nazi skinheads coming up. But back in our day, it was like they were around. If they shut up and they didn't have any beefs with anybody in the fucking room, then that was one thing. Why did we fight Nazis? Because they weren't us. That's why. Why did we fight a lot of people back in the day? Because they weren't us. That's why. I mean, it really had less to do with it. What I always used to say, I'm no fucking superhero. I'm here to save the fucking world from the great Nazi threat. Fuck that. It's not. I don't even like the fucking world, half the world. So why am I here being a superhero? I'm not a fucking superhero. That was the other thing. People used to say, "Well, are you a good skinhead or a bad skinhead?" I used to answer with, "There's no good skinheads. None. They're all fucking problem." In any case, you know, we had a lot of skinhead friends that were not white. They were black, or they were Jewish, or they were Asian, or they were whatever. It didn't matter. Um, and if you come into the fucking room and you cause problems with our boys at all, boy, you're asking for fucking trouble, because you're gonna get jumped. That's the way it is.
That's how it was, and to kind of flesh out a little bit where my train of thought was going with what I was saying earlier. I always saw it as, okay, we're traveling, we're in someone else's neighborhood, right? We're
Yes.
on their turf, and they're a certain way, and they're in the fucking room. It's like we just got to get through the show without having a bottle hitting my head.
Yeah,
If,
that's not
well,
when you're
if
out.
they come up and go, "Hey man, how you doing? Great band." I'm like, "Hey man, thanks." We're not warriors for politics. We're a band on stage.
Right.
We are who we are. We're confident in who we are. We don't have to fucking fight our cause. We're here to play music. And if these guys like it and they don't fuck with us and they're cool, okay.
I
And then we
agree.
pack up and we leave.
Our music, if you listen to any one of our, and this aggravated me. Somebody recently, um, we were originally supposed to be on some show recently with a band that I don't think is a real sketchy band, but apparently other people do. And of course, the fucking Antifa fucking weirdos get involved and whatnot. And it gets blown out of proportion all over the fucking internet and whatnot. Well, somebody had heard that we were supposed to play the show. We ended up not being able to play the show. Tim had to work. There was no way around it. It was we had to bail off the show. But some other fucking promoter around in the area said they were doing a show and it was a good show, and told another member of my band, well, we didn't put you on because you guys were going to be on that show. And this particular member explained, no, that's not at all the case. Like, we are not at all about that. And the guy's like, oh, well, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I'm sorry, whatever. And he's like, well, whatever, maybe next time or whatever. And I said, no, tell that guy to go fuck himself. Just fuck you. Because our fucking lyrics from day one have been very fucking clear where we stand on that thing. We have never, ever been a white power band, a racist band, or anything like that. Nothing like that. And we fucking say it straight up in our fucking lyrics. I mean, Scotty Violence, our last singer, he wrote a song just called Skinhead, and it's, I mean, you can't fucking beat it. The opening line is, we ain't red and we ain't racist, and we ain't no angels with dirty faces. We're skinheads, that's all we are. Don't label us as anything more. It's like, that's exactly right. I don't know how much fucking clearer we can get, because for, oh shit, 30 years we've been saying the same thing. If you don't know by now, go fuck yourself. You were going to book us and you didn't fucking know. So what if we were some fucking Nazi band? You were just going to put it on? Right? You didn't do your fucking research? Fuck you. I have no fucking patience for these idiots that play these fucking popularity games.
Well, for the record, to put a cap on that, the Nazis lost, guys, a long fucking time
Right.
ago.
A long time ago.
His fucking brains out. Fuck
right.
you.
Fuck you.
End the story. Have your little dress up party, but you lost.
Do it. Go do it in a cornfield and have your fun.
Well, I think it's important, Pete, that the conversation went this way because, the whole sort of skinhead thing, obviously there are connotations falsely in most respects, get wrapped up in that. And I would never join a racist band. I would never be in a racist band. And I was with you guys for years. So,
Yes.
I wouldn't tolerate anything like that ever.
No.
Nor would you, nor would any, nor, I mean, we were, if people were cool to us, we were cool to them. That's civility. That's also getting out of the club without getting fucked up because
And
you're
losing
fucking
your
somebody on their turf,
you could lose your equipment real quick if you get fucking smashed in the head with a bottle and now you guys are down. Fucking grab your shit too. I mean,
Right.
there's a certain survival you got to have on the road, and any fucking band that tells you otherwise is lying.
Right.
Because if they walked into a room, well, they're not going to because it doesn't exist anymore. But if they were to walk into a fucking room with a whole, like, that's your audience because you're playing in fucking bumfuck Arkansas, you're going to be a little cordial on your way out. You're going to collect your money and get out, or you're just going to leave. I mean, who knows? If you walked up and they're doing some other fucking bad thing, maybe you just kind of say, let's kind of skip this one. That is a possibility, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, fuck them Nazis, man. We wrote songs about, there were happy songs about violence, and there were happy songs about working and drinking with your friends. I mean, if you listen to our music, it repeats over and over again, and who fucking cares? Because what else is there? It's drinking with your friends, hanging out, and having a fucking laugh. I mean, that's what it's all been about.
Absolutely. So the history of Broken Heroes, a lot of years, a lot of members. I had my first stint with you guys in '98. Then I came back in 2006 to 2008. I'll be back again in another 5 or so years, 10 years, I'm sure. That's how it is in Broken Heroes.
Yeah.
But and Tim and I talked a lot about kind of the different eras of things, but I want to kind of fast forward it to today because first of all, you were talking about 93 and Media Blowout. We're 31 years past that point. First and foremost, what keeps you so engaged in Broken Heroes? Because I know you have a passion for this band, And you have a love for the people in the band, regardless of who's in the band at any particular time. You've always been so loyal to that band and the people in it. What does being in Broken Heroes provide you 30 years later that you couldn't have found in any other band?
Uh, that's a tough question. Um, to be honest with you, at this point, I do it for me. I do it for us. I do it for us to have a good time. Um, that's not to say that I don't love our crowd. I do. Um, but at this point, it's like I write music that I want to listen to. Tim writes music that he wants to listen to. We're not writing music for anybody else. We write our own shit. Man, if people like it, fucking awesome. And if they don't fucking show up to the shows. I don't fucking care. We're gonna keep on doing it because frankly, I think we write some pretty fucking good music together. Um, and that sounds pretty fucking arrogant, and I realize how arrogant that could sound. Um, but the reality is that all of our music is on my phone. All right, and let's say I'll be out. I'll be out mowing the grass. I got this awesome zero turn mower, right? And you've seen how big the stupid lawn is here. So I could pay somebody to fucking do it. And my wife would probably love that because then it would be getting bagged and look better. But I like to stick my earbuds in and put my phone on just whatever. And it'll just sit there and skip all over the planet from fucking, it'll go from Waylon Jennings to fucking NWA to Broken Heroes. And a song will come on that I hadn't heard in a long time that we played, that we recorded. And it may be a song that nobody else really knows because it really didn't, it wasn't memorable enough for people to remember. And I'll hear it and I'll be like, it ends and it's like, fuck, that was us. God damn it. What a fucking good song. And I'm proud of it. And it's like, so when I hear my music sometimes, or our music, it's like, wow, we fucking did that, So that's why I do it, We never fucking went anywhere. Broken Heroes is the oldest fucking oi band you never fucking heard of. That's what we are, right? We don't play fucking Rebellion. We're not playing these big fucking festivals. No one's fucking asking. And maybe it's because we don't go on big fucking tours, but guess what? We're exactly who we say we are. When we say we're fucking working class men, we're working class fucking men. We got jobs. We can't fucking just up and split and be like, oh, I'm going to go on tour all over Europe for the next 2 months. Really? Well, where are you getting your money from? I wrote the fucking song. Oh, I don't pay the bills. It don't fucking pay. Do you know what the guy from fucking Evil Conduct told me? And I will name them because dude said this shit to me. I said something, we were hanging out drinking. It was the old bassist. And do you know who Evil Conduct is?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
offhand.
Yeah.
So they're a 80s oi band from the Netherlands. And I was hanging out with their younger bassist at the time. And I said something similar to that, like, well, we can't just fucking up and go off on tour. We all have fucking jobs. Like, I said, I wrote the song, fucking, we don't pay the bills. And he goes, yeah, well, in Europe, it does pay the bills. And I went, well, that's pretty fucking weak. Like in my head, I'm going like, it's not supposed to fucking pay the bills. It's supposed to be a passion. That's why you do it. You don't do it because you're making money off it. Which leads me to like, where is it going? You got nothing but these big fucking monsters of oi fucking shows going on. Remember Monsters of Rock? It was like Van Halen and fucking all that. Yeah, that's what's going on now. It's become a big popularity contest. I'm not impressed.
Well,
Just not impressed.
it's all festivals now, regardless of genre. It's a weird shift, sort of post-pandemic, where you're seeing like 50 bands on a bill to get
Well
people
before
to
the
pay
pandemic.
money.
Oh, this happened well before the pandemic. But let me tell you a quick pandemic story about Broken Heroes. And Jay, who's doing the shows, Jay, fuck, what's Jay's last name? I forget Jay's last name. They're doing the Stomp Out animal abuse shows in New Jersey. Okay, done a lot of
Hey,
fucking
Belushi?
yeah, Jay Belushi.
Yeah.
Done a lot of fucking great shows, a lot of great shows. And let me tell you, him and his wife, they put a lot of fucking work into what they do. They're good people. They care about the scene. Well, here we are, middle of fucking COVID. We haven't left the house. All our dumb punk rock friends in New Jersey are doing. I wish you were part of this, Joel, because you would have laughed your ass off. They were doing fucking Zoom dance parties. It was like Blank 77 were putting it on, and fucking a couple other people, and it was just like everyone's just hanging out, drinking together, and fucking listen to music. Like it would have different DJs play the music. It was actually a lot of fun. Like when all you were doing is drinking tequila and watching Animal Kingdom, or not Animal Kingdom, Tiger King, and fucking eating pancakes. Right now, this comes on. It was incredible. That was a lot of fun. Anyway, so Jay says, "Look, we're going to do this show. It's not a show; it's a protest. That's how we're doing it, right? We're going to call it a protest. We're protesting animal abuse. So all the money is going to go to an animal shelter." All right, cool. That sounds good. We're in, and we show up to this park. It's an outdoor thing, and people flew in from all over the country to come to this punk show. And it was at a time when everyone's masked up and you couldn't see anybody's faces. Now no one's wearing masks. The cops showed up and said, "Look, as long as there's no violence, we're not going to cause anybody any problem." And they didn't bother anybody. What a fucking fun show. People were diving on top of each other and singing along. And we finished our set and we didn't know what else to do. And so Tim and I are like pulling covers out of our ass that we could play. And we're like playing like Ramones shit. We're playing Sex Pistols stuff, and we're playing whatever we can to just keep it going because the vibe was so fucking awesome. That was my best. That was one of the best things to happen in during COVID. What a good time. A lot of people were pissed about it. Well, a lot of people mad that they said we were super spreading and blah, 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 blah. Whatever. We were having fun doing punk rock shit. That's what we did. Right.
I remember that was a show where the group photo was taken, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I remember that photo became kind of viral for a while. And there were people who are on my Facebook page who don't know you, who don't know Broken Heroes. We're taking that picture and they're like, "Look at these white supremacists, anti-gay, anti-vax." And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna defend my friends here. And I'm like, I won't mention the poster's name, but I went in this comment section. I said, the top row there, yeah, that one guy is gay, and the guy next to him, yeah, that's his husband. They've been married for years. This guy works in this, and I'm just like, this is how, this is where this guy lives, and this is, what this person does for a career. And I shut those people fucking down.
Nice.
For my people, it's like, I mean, look, if you want to say what a bunch of goofballs, period, I'd go, all right, yeah, that makes sense. But to be like fucking, homophobic, I'm like, dude, a quarter of this photo is fucking gay. Like
yeah. No, man, I don't know. People got so fucking weird around that time. It's like, it's like whatever. It is what it is that fucking time. But as far as the music festival thing, well, we'll get to that. We're gonna talk about the state of the punk and oi scene. Are we doing all right on time? Like, we okay? Like, we're not like running late or anything, are we?
Oh, dude, I'm on no schedule. We can go all night.
I'm on no schedule.
Let me dive in with something I didn't get to earlier. What's that?
I said, hang on, ladies. You're in for a fucking ride.
Yeah, we're just warming up, folks. So be warned. Let me rewind a little bit because there is the other band you've played in.
Yes, Vibram 94.
Right.
Vibram 94. All right, so That was with me and Bodon and Bob Gardner and Taj. Taj was a New York City skinhead, fucking great guy. I hadn't seen him for fucking so long. I'll get to it. Anyway, Bodon was going to have the business over to play in the United States, and he wanted Tim to play, and he wanted to play in the band. Like, and Bodon is the one that set that up. He did set that up. Again, here's another. This is a man that puts his fucking heart into the scene. He really does believe it. So he gets the business to come over, and it was like a big fucking to do. They're gonna play 2 dates, New York City and Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And so he asked Tim to be in his band Vibram 94, and Tim's like, well, I can't do it. I got too much going on. He might have been starting to play with the Blank 77 at that time. So he was a little bit had a little bit too much going on. So he called me and he's like, look, Bodon wants to do this thing. And like, if you play with him, maybe we can get on a bill. And I said, okay. So I said, yeah, I'll play with you. But you got to get Broken Heroes on a bill. So he did. And Broken Heroes played. We didn't play the New York show. We played the Chapel Hill show, which was great. We still had a really good fucking time. So here we are. We're gonna start practicing with me and Bob and Bodon and Taj, and we go in. I'm like, okay, so what songs do you have? Like 3 songs. Holy fucking shit! Like, dude, we got like 2 months to figure this shit out. I was like, all right. And I was kind of a dick back then. I was very staunchly into Broken Heroes, and I'll admit this to anybody. I'm admitting it to everybody. I was a dick, and I was like, look, I'm not writing your music for you, because all my music, anything I write goes to Broken Heroes. That's it. I said, but if you hum it or help me work on it with you, we can write this music. So I had Bodon, he already had in his head how he wanted it to sound. And so he would like kind of sing it to me, and I would kind of come up with something, and between me and Taj and Bob and Bodon, we managed to write 8 solid fucking songs. So he gets a hold of Carl Templar and Phil Templar and says, we're going to record this shit. So they recorded all 8 songs, and Carl put his little twist on things, and Phil put his little twist on things. And I finally heard the first 7-inch, and it sounded fucking great. And they put that out. So I only really played 2 shows with them, although I wrote a lot of the music with them. So it actually is kind of near and dear to me. Like, if I listen to it now, like, I can hear what was influencing me at the time. And if I listen to old Broken Heroes that was going on at the time, the shit I wrote then, that coincides with a lot of what was going on with Vibram 94. And Vibram 94 got a lot of influence from the Templars too, because Carl put his twist on the guitars, which was fucking incredible. So that band was like a flash in the pan. Poof, it goes. Years later, 2019, it was 2019, right? Because I still have that fucking hole in my head from COVID, where all I did was sit around drinking tequila and watching Tiger King. I think it was February 2019, right? Because March is when everything started shutting down, and it was like 2 weeks to stop the spread. Everyone stay inside, no more toilet paper.
2020.
Okay, so it was 2020. So it was February 2020, and I have the flyer in my bathroom. Bodon calls me up earlier, and he goes, listen, here, we're going to do it. 594 reunion. It's going to be you, me, Taj, Carl, and Phil. And what we're going to do is you're going to fly down a day before. We're going to have one practice, and we're going to go for it. And I went, oh, no, this is going to be so bad. But we showed up. We did one practice, and we all practiced on our own at home, of course. We showed up. We did one practice, and I was like, oh, my God, like this this might actually be pretty good. Wow. And then we show up at the show, and it was a 3-day weekend show that Bodon had put on. And we get on stage, and I couldn't believe how many people knew this fucking music. I was like, it was such a flash in the pan at the time that I didn't realize that everybody, well, not everybody, a lot of people out there had heard of it before. And they showed up, and I had numerous people come up to me and say, dude, you were one of the bands I wanted to fucking see this weekend. And I was like, Vibram 94, really? Holy shit. Like it kind of blew me away how many people really connected with that music. And I still have a video. I have one video from that show of we were doing You'll Never Take Us. God damn it, it sounds fucking good, man. Oh my God. Bodon's up there fucking just ruling it. And fucking the band sounds tight as a motherfucker. Oh man, it was perfect. It was perfect. And then like 2-3 weeks later, that's when the whole world shut down. And I said to myself, man, if this is how it goes, if this is how it ends, my Oi career, or like if, because you don't know what's going to get, where we were going, right? Like your mind starts going in weird places. If that's the last thing I've done, I'm all right with it. That was that fucking good. It was that good. Damn, what a fucking good show. So Bodon, get your fucking ass together. We're gonna fucking do this again. We got to do this again. We got to do it in New York.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely, man. No doubt. So let's go back to Broken Heroes.
Yes.
I think this is lineup number 8026.
Because now we got Quincy back
Okay.
again.
So it's Timmy Kins on vocals,
Timmy Kins, yes.
yourself, Andy, Andy from Pleased Youth and Nibble Bane, old school bass player since the 80s, has been with you guys.
He would say Andy from Broken Heroes.
Andy from Broken Heroes, that's right. Quincy, who's been in like a million bands, Murphy's Law, Head Wound, etc.
You want to hear something fucked up real quick, if I can interrupt you? Andy has been Broken Heroes for a very long time now. I think he actually says that it might be almost longer than he was in Niblick or any other band.
Wow.
And he's the one that said that. And I was like, holy shit, really? Fuck, we're old. Playing with him is a fucking, I'll tell you, man, I love playing with Andy. He laughs at all.
Tell me about the I don't know how new he is, but
he's a baby. He's a baby. I think they snipped his umbilical cord, gave him a guitar, and said, "Here you're in Broken Heroes." Ha! Fuck you, Aaron. And after Scotty left, and went out to California. And for anybody who doesn't know, Scotty Violence, we love Scotty Violence. We've always loved Scotty Violence. Scotty Violence had some career aspirations that he had to take up on the West Coast. And so he was forced to leave the band and do what he had to do for himself professionally. So if there's any fucking weirdo rumors out there or anything like that, Scotty Violence is one of my best friends and I fucking love him. And he did for Brooker. What a songwriter, man. His songwriting skills are fucking incredible. The shit that he wrote was really, really good. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm a little nervous writing new shit because I'm always nervous when I write lyrics. But, it's like, I don't know. Lyrics are the toughest part for me. Anyway, so he winds up leaving, and here we are. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do. And Tim is like, well, I guess I could sing for a while. And, we really didn't want to throw a new frontman up front because we've had numerous ones. And every time you change frontman, you can change a drummer, you can change guitars, you can change a bassist. When you change a frontman, it's hard. It changes the whole dynamic of the fucking band. It can change the whole dynamic of the band. Right now, I don't think we've changed the dynamic of the band with Tim singing. But just like a long time ago, when Meathead left the band, Tim wound up picking up and playing guitar. He was playing guitar and singing at the same time. And when he was doing that, it was actually when we played with the business. Mickey Fitz told him, ditch the guitar, get another guitarist. Your hands are caught doing this. You need to be out there and doing it, right? And your hands are fucking playing guitar. You don't need to be doing this. You need to be bringing the energy and getting out there. And Tim took that to heart. So that's how we wound up with Greasy Tony or Anthony playing in the band. Okay. Similar thing. Here we are in the same situation. Our singer left. Tim's going to play. He's going to sing. I thought we were going to go on as a 4-piece and just continue. And Tim's like, I don't want to do that. I want to be out there. So he decided to take up the role, which is tough for me because Tim and I write shit together really well. Like we have a vibe that I don't know. I can't describe it, but like, I know what he's going to fucking do and he knows what I'm going to do. And it just works. I mean, when we were writing music, it just fucking works every time. He decided he wanted to just focus on singing. So he did. And we brought Aaron in and we played with Aaron. And let me tell you something, that guy fucking sucks on guitar. He's so bad. I don't know why Tim wanted him. No, it's not true. He's actually fucking awesome. The kid is fucking, he is a really fucking good guitarist. I mean, if anybody could fucking actually play the shit that Tim plays, because Tim comes up with some wild ass rock and roll-y type of shit that I've never heard anybody else do. It's technical, but it's still simple. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard to describe. And Aaron can keep up with that. And I fucking love Aaron. It's congealed really well. And then we lost our drummer, Steve decided that he had to do other things. So he split and went and did other things. And we were like, oh, fuck, now what do we do? And I said something to Quincy just kind of offhandedly. And he's like, well, I'd like to play. And I was like, I honestly wasn't even really going to ask him because I didn't think he'd want to. And he was like, well, I want to play. And I was like, fuck, really? Like Quincy, we have Quincy back? Fuck yeah. All right, I'm in. Cool. And it has been great because Quincy is one of us. Mm-hmm. Quincy's an old head like us, right? So it's like, man, having Quincy back in the band, I fucking love it. So now we have a really solid fucking lineup. It is very strong. We got, we always have a few things we got to tighten up. I would like to write some new music and go on in that direction. The music I think I want to write is probably going to piss a lot of people off. And frankly, I don't fucking care because what I say before, I do this for me. I don't do it for anybody else. So if I'm out there and I write a song that pisses you off, good. I did my job. If you get that, then you'll get that. If you don't get that, then you'll get mad at me. And that's whatever. I got plenty of friends. I don't fucking care. I really don't. I remember I fucking wore a shirt. When did old Trumpy Berry fucking win the election? That was it was right before that. What year was that?
You won in 2016.
It was 2016. All right. So I think it was 2016. And we played at the Stanhope House. It was actually the first show I had my son on stage with me too. My son Joey. Dude, you're talking about a fucking bassist. Holy fucking shit. He just posted a video on Instagram. And he's down in school in Florida. He's 19 years old. Kid's a fucking musical prodigy. He's fucking aggravating. He's a better guitarist than me now. Jesus Christ. But he started on bass. And he just went to see the Descendants while he was down there. And so he's like, yeah, so I was watching so-and-so play this song. I figured I'd give it a shot. And he's playing along with it. And he's playing fucking Coolidge.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. I went, oh my God. I'm like, and it was fucking perfect. Blow me away. Anyway, I remember when he was a kid, I was in the bathroom, you know, taking care of business as I do. And I realized he was in there playing fucking Dead Kennedys on bass. And I came around the corner and I said, "What the fuck was that?" And he's like, "Oh, it was a police truck or whatever by Dead Kennedys." I was like, "You're really picking up on this bass thing, huh?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I said, "You don't want to be a good bassist? You want to be the best bassist? Learn everything that Operation Ivy did, learn everything that Rancid did, all in Descendants,
Mhm.
and you can't be touched." And he learned all of that shit. So it's incredible. Anyway, where the fuck was I? Joey. Oh, so that was this. Back to pissing people off. I wore a shirt at that show. It was Joey was 11 years old. He played Jump for Roy with us, right? And there's a video of it. Fincy put it up, and I'm wearing a shirt, and it's like an ugly sweater shirt, right? And it says "Make Christmas Great Again," and it's got old Trumpy Bear's face on it. I wasn't making a political statement. I was trying to piss people off because it was such a fucking thing that made people angry that it made me fucking laugh. So I wore it. Johnny of Mike and Johnny came up to me and goes, "Nice shirt." I said, "Does it piss you off?" And he goes, "Yeah, kinda." I was like, "Then fucking right on. It did exactly what it's supposed to do." What happened to the old days, right? When Fear would show up and say, they're in fucking on Saturday Night Live in New York and they say, "Well, welcome. We're real happy to be here in New Jersey." It's like, dude, like you're trying to piss people off. Like, what happened to that? That was fun. You know? I don't know.
No, I mean, look, kind of going back to what we were talking about with the photo and the accusations about the scene. If we can't break each other's balls, where the hell are we gonna be? With the
Exactly.
world is on fucking fire, whether you're gay, straight, black, whatever the fuck, if we can't bust each other's balls and fucking laugh, you know, everybody's got such a stick up their ass over every minor offense. Take a look outside. We don't have that long to go, guys. The way things are going, fucking have a laugh.
Yes. Yeah.
Take the piss out on it. Enjoy yourself, and find your humanity with your friends, and realize that what attracted me to the scene was how eclectic it actually really was. You can go to a skinhead show and see a bunch of guys like us, but each one's got a different story, different nationality. I go to shows now, mostly like hardcore shows. People are talking about their kids, what their
Oh
kids are
yeah.
up to. I mean, it's life happening. Enjoy the moment, because as you and I have learned, and Broken Heroes has learned recently, life is fucking short, you know.
Hey man. Holy shit. Yeah, so I guess we'll talk about that elephant in the room, eh? Uh
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we Broken Heroes lost two which quite frankly, I mean, if you're a nation of a band, losing two people really, I mean, we've had a lot of fucking people in this band, but the two people that we did lose were very fucking notable, as everybody is it was in this band. The only person that we kind of really don't talk about much is Joel Gausten, I think.
Yeah, the prick.
Anyway, no, we end up losing Jeff Stubbz a while back. Jeff was playing. We did a bunch of. Let me tell you, man. Fucking as far as a bassist goes, that motherfucker was probably the most on fire bassist I've ever played with. I mean, he was. That dude was on fucking fire all the time. He played so blistering fast, so technical. Uh, and the big thing with him, he was. I don't even know how we wound up with Jeff. Um, who left? Somebody left. I think it was Chip left again, and we wound up with somebody. I don't remember who got Jeff. to come along. But he comes out and they're like, yeah, we're gonna try this guy out. And I'd known Jeff from the connection days, right? And his wife Lauren, well, his girlfriend Lauren, his partner Lauren, they've been together since fucking like 2002 or some crazy shit, forever. Forever. They've been together a long time. And anyway, they came out and they practiced with us or whatever. And Jeff, I mean, obviously was like, fuck, man, like this guy's incredible. And we played for many years together. And Jeff and I, Jeff, you talk about ball busting, right? Jeff was ball buster, and we would fucking bust each other's balls left and fucking right. I mean, we were just constantly just fucking with each other, and just, but like nothing that we said offended the other one. Like we would just like bust each other's balls and fucking laugh. And that's who Jeff was, man. You know, he was. But like, I remember one time we did a recording and I was going away. I don't know where I was going, but I was going on vacation or something like that. And they were going to lay the drum tracks. And Joe Martin was the drummer at the time. And Joe Martin played with many, many bands. And he was another guy that could be, I'm sorry. Did you say you wanted it fast? I could do that. And he would rip out some fucking crazy thing. Well, I told these guys, I was like, look, Tim and I are yin and yang. I always want it heavier, harder, faster. Tim wants it slower, pull it back, more mellow. You put us in the room together, it winds up perfect. I told these guys, I was like, look, don't fucking go too slow on the fucking drum track, please. Okay, these songs are supposed to be in your face. They're supposed to be a little bit aggressive. Get after it. I go on vacation. I come back, and it's like, okay, all right, I'm here. I got my guitar. I'm gonna play my tracks. I almost couldn't keep up with it. It was so fucking fast. I was like, I don't think we ever really did. We release it? No, we did. That was on the thing that was also with Scotty Violence with his other band, Armed Suspects, and it was called For the Punks and Skins. And if you listen to that shit, it is fucking fast as hell. And that's those guys. That's old Stubbz. The other thing I remember about Stubbz was he was always trying to bring the upright. You know, Jeff is he's got a lot of different musical tastes. So he loved hardcore. He loved death metal, grindcore. He loved a lot of psychobilly. He loved a lot of rockabilly. He loved some punk. He's kind of all over the place musically, right? And he was always trying to bring the upright bass in on Broken Heroes. And I'm like, no, I don't want to the fucking skinhead retirement plan. I'm not going to become some goddamn rockabilly band, you know, like that was my old, I used to argue with him. I don't bring the fucking upright bass, but he played it really well. And honestly, like to play upright bass, many people don't play it well, but he did. So, oh, fucking Stubbz. I love you, man. He was a fucking good man.
And there's going to be a memorial show for him on the 21st of April.
Correct.
In a few days at Dingbat.
I'm gonna show my age real quick. Oh, look, there you are. Joel, you look fucking good looking motherfucker when I put my glasses on, you know. All right, so Stubbz show is coming up. That is, you know, I didn't even write the fucking date down. What a dumbass.
April 21st, Sunday.
Thank you.
April 21st at Dingbats in Clifton.
Yes, at Dingbats in Clifton. It's a 4:00 show. $15. Everything's going to Lauren, which again, it's like Lauren is such a sweetheart. To be honest with you, you know, I'm. It sucks all around because Lauren is such a fucking great person, and I really feel for her. Sorry, Lauren, if you're watching this, getting upset. I hope you're not watching this because it makes me upset. You guys were fucking just together, and it's like you don't see couples like that very often, and they were so good together. So I feel very bad that she's lost her partner. Anyway, fuck, man, make me look. I'm a tough guy, motherfucker. All right, so this show is more about Jeff than it is the bands. Okay, so it's a little all over the place. Okay, a lot of these bands are more metal bands or hardcore bands, not hardcore bands, but like more metal bands or different. They're just different genres. Like if you think you're going to an Oi show, you're not. We're the only Oi band on the bill, but that's not what the point is. The point is to be out there for Jeff and for Lauren and helping them out. You know what I mean? So if you got the time, come out, have a couple beers. It's at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. What else are you gonna do? You're done with church already, so you might as well come out. Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting show. I think that's actually the sound is always good there too. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I will, when I post this video, Pete, in the video description, I'll put the link up for tickets and
Yeah,
information for the show. And as of today, I'm gonna be there. Um, as of today,
yeah, yeah.
things are a little wobbly because it's a Sunday. I'm up in New England. I got to work it out,
Yeah,
but
it's a lot.
it's looking very, very, very possible. So I hope the hell I can do it. I'm like 99.9% there at this point. So we'll
Well,
see.
that'll be good, man. I can't. I would love to see you. I haven't seen you since. Well, I mean, I just saw you. Fuck you. I just saw you. No, I just saw you at Big Roast. And which, speaking of which, we're doing another one. I'll tell you about that later. But you're
Nice,
obviously welcome to that as well.
nice, nice.
Anyway, so that was one, and the other one was Anthony, Greasy Tony, and Anthony had a very big impact on my early fucking life. Um, he's like a Pat Duncan to me.
Mhm.
All right, because Pat Duncan, I used to listen to he was FMU, right? Was
Yeah,
he FMU? It was FMU, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So WFMU, and when I was in like 8th grade, suddenly one day I was winding around on my fucking radios, and I found this guy playing the meanest fucking punk I had ever heard in my life. And I learned so much listening to fucking Pat Duncan, and like all these bands would go and play. And eventually we got to go play, which
Yep.
was honestly a dream come true for me. Pat Duncan, I don't know if he realizes how many people he fucking touched, but he touched a lot of people.
Yeah,
And I'm friends with him on Facebook. So I see a lot of the shit he does as well. He's a good person. Uh,
absolutely.
Anthony would have been the secondary part of that, in that I was again fishing around on my fucking radio one night, and I found on WNTI, which was Centenary College, and he had his Radiodrome radio show, and that was when I was in Hanker. It was in my very first band. I was in. I might have been in 8th grade when I met Anthony the first time. And I remember we were listening to him and listening to the music that he was playing, and we were just young punk kids, man. And he invited us up. One of my singer at the time, Matt, called up the radio show and said, "Hey, we got this band called Hanker. We would love to send it to you to play it on your radio show." So he's like, "Why don't you just come up?" So we all went over there. We were just kids, man. And he played our music, and it was like, to us, 8th grade, holy fuck, this guy's playing our music on the fucking radio. Holy shit. And he was so fucking cool to us and so nice to us and interviewed us. And, it was just a dumb thing, but it was so much. I mean, it was so influential to me. And eventually, as time went on, obviously, I evolved, he evolved, we all evolved, and he became my friend. And now we're all hanging out together. We're all hanging out at a clubhouse together. Remember the clubhouse in
Oh yeah.
Opakon? Do
Oh
you know
yeah.
that place? They gutted that place? All right, so the clubhouse in Opakon was this stupid VFW hall that my friend Tommy Blewett owned. And his dad owned it. and he would let us put on these fucking psycho punk rock shows. There was so many riots there.
Mm-hmm. New
What a
Year's Eve.
New Year's! I fucking never forget that shit. That I punched fucking Holzman in the head, Jay Holzman in the head at that show accidentally because he was trying to break up a fucking fight, and he stepped in. I went to throw one last hit, and he went no, and I went oh, fucking hit him in the head. I was like, oh shit, bro, I'm sorry. Like getting dragged backwards. Oh my god. Anyway, that place was chaos, and Anthony was there with all of us, and that's where he got his name, Greasy Tony, because when we were doing these shows, we were like, well, fuck, we want to put food on, so we'll sell hamburgers for $1 a piece. We get them for, a sleeve of them for $5. We'll sell them for $1 a piece, so we can make some money to rent the clubhouse. And it was Greasy Tony's fucking buffet or whatever the fuck we called it, or he was Greasy Tony for the night, and he was manning the grill. And eventually down the line, we wound up playing together. I told you, like, we played with the business, and that was after Meathead left. And Mickey Fitz told Tim, you should focus on just singing. And Tim took it to heart, and he did. And we wound up with Anthony playing guitar with us. And we went down the line, and eventually Broken Heroes broke up. We didn't break up. We kind of broke up. Kind of fell apart for a little while. Tim got real busy with Blank 77 because Blank 77 was fucking going everywhere. And I came home, and Meathead was like, I want to get Broken Heroes back together. And I said, okay. So I talked to Anthony, and we got another guy named Jeff, and he was playing bass. And I think we got Peckrell back on drums. Yes, Peckrell was back on drums. So we actually started playing without Tim because Tim was in Blank 77, and that was my time with Anthony. And we did some recordings then too, and that turned out really well. So
that was my era the first time, because I replaced.
That's right. No, yeah, that's right. Because that's right. That was when fucking Sean left. I remember that show. We played that show, and you were just filling in. They had the lights. They had the bistro lights over the pit, right? And they fell down. And someone said, "Oh, hold on. We got to fix the lights because somebody's going to get electrocuted." And I said, "They'll get the pit moving if they get electrocuted." We had a recording of that show, and that was the show. I don't even think I asked you because you were still playing with Squiggy, right? And I said, "And this is fucking our new fucking drummer, Joel, and he is our fucking brand new drummer as of tonight." That's it. You're fucking stuck at that point.
Yeah. Stuck for a few months, and then I left, and I came back years later and was stuck for a couple of years.
Well, that's all right. You're coming back eventually anyway.
Yeah. I figure it's only a matter of time.
It's just a matter of time. Quincy will get mad at us or something. Anyway, so and then with fucking Anthony, we obviously all kind of fucking bands. We're all like a bunch. It's an incestuous fucking love affair of people moving from band to band. He winds up all over the place, but we're always still friends, and he winds up off somewhere else. And about a year ago, he called me up, and just out of the blue, I was like, look at my phone. I was like, holy fuck, it's fucking Anthony. So I answer the phone. I'm talking to him, and he tells me, yeah, man, I was just thinking about things. We're all getting older and whatnot. And I haven't seen you guys in a long time. And, now that I'm living on the other side of the river, I don't get to see you guys that much. But I really miss my Jersey family, man. I miss you guys. And I was like, yeah, I fucking miss you too, And I guess it was it was about a year later that he passed, but through no fault of his own. Like he did, he wasn't, you hear about, not that it matters if it's a fault of somebody, like if they're, their own behavior winds up killing them. But man, it wasn't his fault. He didn't just just fucking got him, man. And it sucked when I heard it. But
Mm.
I am very, very grateful. Excuse me. I'm very grateful that I had that last conversation with him, even though it was a year before.
Yeah.
Uh, and we were able to kind of express to each other. It's like, yeah, man, I miss you too. It's like, the connections that we have in this New Jersey Oi family, as I keep referring to it as, it never fucking goes away. You know, you, uh, Mike Blank, Renee, Tim, fucking, who else? I mean, it could be fucking Chad. It could be Johnny, Constance, and fucking Johnny they're living in Mexico now. It doesn't matter. Like, there's people from all over the place. Scott Seidel up in fucking Buffalo. Nobody's seen him in forever. I have seen him. Bob Gardner up in New York. I mean, all these people, and it sucks when they go. But we're all connected for fucking 30 years, man. You know?
Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons I started doing these YouTube videos. I started seeing, our guys, Jeff and Anthony, and some other people kind of go upstairs, and I'm like, not that I, you know, wish anything on anybody, of course, but I'm like, I got to get some of the old characters back, and talk about the days, you, Tim,
Yeah,
Emilio,
man.
because we're all at that age now where it's like, we all kind of start looking back a little bit,
Yeah.
and realizing that, when you're in the moment, you don't recognize the significance of something. But 30 years later, you look back and go, we were all part of this thing that will never be fucking duplicated, ever.
You want to hear a fucking really great song? And if you do you drink much, or do you don't drink no more?
Not really. Not
All
really.
right. Uh, you smoke weed or something like that? Obviously I don't. I can't, but I get drug tested.
Actually, I'm not a complete teetotaler by any means, but um, I behave myself more than I have in a long time. I'll put it that way.
Okay. Well, if you want to have a fucking night, we're gonna sit around and just fucking get fucking sad about shit, get it out. Sometimes it's good to get it out, right? Anyway, you want to get on a fucking tear. It's a band called the Box Cutter Boys. This guy Doug that I know. It's bluegrass. He plays all the instruments in the band. Um, he's been in other bands. He's been in other bands that may be not so um, nice politically. However, the guy's talented. So you got to give him that. And he did this bluegrass thing called the Box Cutter Boys. And he covered one of his old songs called my oh god damn it. Hang on, I gotta look it up. I gotta tell you about it because you're gonna you're gonna hear it one day and you're gonna let's see the box. You have to Google this shit. My he did Hungry Like a Wolf too, so that's pretty bad. uh Christ almighty. I'm fucking dying over here.
You're gonna fill the dead air somehow. What can we do?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
sorry. Yeah,
subscribe to my fucking channel, people. Thank you.
yeah, I apologize for that. Misspent Youth is the call. Listen to Misspent Youth by the Box Cutter Boys. It'll make you sad and cry. And if you have tequila, it helps. All right, anyway. So that's enough about the poor fellas that we love that have moved on. We just do got to remember each other and everybody out there. Don't take your friends for granted. Tell them you love them because it's important.
Yeah,
Tell your family you love them too, even if you don't.
absolutely. So as we wrap up, um, we've had, I think, shades of this conversation already throughout the conversation.
Probably.
but you've been in the oi and punk scenes for many, many years now. Um, I'm gonna sit back after I ask this question and just kind of put my um Pete, Jersey Pete of Broken Heroes. What are your thoughts on the present and future of oi and punk in America and globally?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to start this. I'll preface this by saying that this is my opinion and my opinion only. And that just because it's my opinion doesn't mean it's right. Um, I could be way off base and I could be totally fucking wrong. I could be an old fart saying back in my fucking day, whatever. It could be that. Uh, I fully recognize that. However, I'll start with punk. What the fuck, guys? What the fuck is going on with punk rock? Punk rock, there's always been elements of politics and whatnot in punk rock. Like Dead Kennedys, obviously, is a big one. But it was never one side or the other. Okay. It was always don't fucking trust government and politicians and whatnot because they don't have your best interest in mind. And they don't. Either side. I don't fucking care who it is. They're looking out for themselves. It's a business for them. And what they're selling is you. So why would you fucking buy into anything they fucking say at all? I feel like punk rock now used to be when I was a kid and I'd be walking through the mall or whatever. I'd see some chick with fucking green hair. I'd be like, she's one of us. She's fucking down, right? She's not out there fucking judging on anybody. She's doing her thing because she's doing what she feels she needs to be doing in her heart right fucking now. She's thinking what she thinks, and that's awesome. She's an individual. Now I see it and I go, fuck. Who are you here to protest? What are you here to whine about? Because if you don't fit in some fucking box nowadays, then you ain't punk rock. What the fuck happened there? Used to be back in the day, and this is good and bad because there was a lot of bad opinions out there that people had, but they were still accepted because it's what you believe.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
right. What you believe isn't necessarily invalid just because you believe it or just because I don't believe it. Right? Okay. All right. Well, we don't agree, but that's okay. It's cool. Let's go have a fucking beer together, right? Yeah, you're a broken toy and I'm a fucking broken toy too. So
Yep.
let's hang out. That's what it fucking meant. Nowadays, if you don't fit in some little fucking box, and that box gets there's numerous boxes, and they're smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and that is not fucking punk rock. Punk rock has always been about acceptance, okay, and sometimes it's acceptance of assholes that have bad ideas, but they're a broken toy like you. They've been through some bad shit. They've been through whatever. So maybe instead of saying "fuck you," you ain't one of us. Get the fuck out. Maybe you embrace them and change their opinions, and maybe they start to learn something from you. Maybe you start to learn something from them.
Mm-hmm.
That's punk rock,
Mm-hmm.
right? The music was always there to bind us together, but it was never. People talk about the the revolution or the whatever. It's no fucking revolution. There ain't no fucking revolution. Punk rock never offered any fucking answers. Any answers. It may have shined a light on some shit that was fucked up, but it never said, well, okay, well, this is fucked up, but here's the answer. There is no fucking answer. The answer is fuck everything. That's punk rock. Where we got so sideways with that, I don't know. I do blame the television. I do blame MTV in the 90s when they picked up all this shit. And it's like, well, now you got to believe in a certain thing. And frankly, Here's a good fucking thing. This is a really good thing. I took my son to see Suicidal, and it was Suicidal and Rancid, two bands I really like. I do love Rancid. I think Rancid is a fucking incredible band. I love that they don't get political. Anybody never noticed that? They don't get very political, maybe a little bit here and there, but like the rest of their shit is just like kind of stories about what they're doing at the time. I mean, I like Rancid. I think they're a fucking great band. So we went to see Rancid, and what a good show they put on. And Suicidal and Pennywise. Suicidal's on stage. They get up there. Mike Muir gets on stage, and you know Mike, he's a fucking older guy. He's up there. That dude's got some energy for his fucking age, man. He gets up there and he goes, if I ever come out here and I fucking tell you, I know what's best for you. I know what you should do. I know who you should vote for. You should say, fuck you, Mike. You don't know anything about me. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know what I think. You don't know where I'm coming from. How could you fucking possibly tell me what I'm thinking, what I believe, what I should do, what I should vote for? Something as personal as what I should vote for. Mm-hmm. You should say, fuck you, Mike. That's what you should say to me if I ever get out here and say that. Literally the next band, Pennywise. We got a problem in this country, and you guys need to get out there and vote Democrat because these Republicans are trying to destroy the planet. Blah 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 blah. Fuck you. And it's like, dude, did you guys not just hear the fucking original dude that was on before you? Do you not respect your fucking elders? You're gonna come out and disrespect everything that man just said? Really? Not only that, at the end of the night, and this was at a big fucking venue, I walked up because I was going to buy my son a Suicidal shirt. Who's manning the fucking merch booth but fucking Mike himself? And I walked up and I said, just when I fucking lost faith in fucking punk rock, here you are. And he said, what do you mean? I said, you're selling your own fucking merch? That's incredible, dude. You know, thank you for doing that. Like, I don't know if he understood like what that meant to me, but it's like that's true shit right there. Like, you're not hiding in the back, right? Where the fuck's Pennywise? Fuck Pennywise.
Let me throw a name.
Goes on record as saying fuck Pennywise.
let me throw a name at you that's a lot like we just described with Mike. Roger from Agnostic Front.
Exactly. Yes. Absolutely. Fucking Jimmy G, Murphy's Law.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. Well, and Vinny Stigma. Vinny Stigma. Obviously, like I used to live very close to the Stanhope House, right? So anytime any of those bands were going for a while, like all the New York bands were going through there, the hardcore bands went up. And so I was bringing my son there when he was real young. It got so fucking crazy that both Jimmy and Vinny Stigma knew who my son was. And they would walk in and they'd go, Vinny Stigma, hey, he's fucking Joey. Come running over, give him a big fucking hug. Jimmy always takes care of the kids. Always takes care of the kids. Grabs them, pulls them up on stage, makes them feel like they're fucking part of something. You know what I mean? These guys are real punk rock. It's hardcore, but it's punk rock. It's real punk rock, not, you know what I mean? Fucking love those guys for what they do. I think it's incredible. And I try to do the same thing. We played a show at the Stanhope House a while back, and my son was there, and was this other 13-year-old kid there. And I'm watching him while I'm playing, and he's singing all the words to No Friend of Mine. And I went up to him after. I was like, dude, you knew all our lyrics. He's like, yeah, I know all your lyrics. My father's been listening to you for years. Holy shit. Dude, you're incredible, man. Fucking thank you so much. Like, it meant so much to me than anybody else who'd be listening. So that's punk rock. It's like punk rock was meant to be down on the level, at that level, okay? But it's not there anymore. Like you said about festivals, and this started way before COVID. Now it's all festivals. Nobody goes to fucking local shows anymore for $10 or $20 because they're saving their money so they can go to fucking Barcelona to see the Rebellion Festival or whatever. And don't get me wrong, if Rebellion wants us to play, I'll show up and play. But because it's not that the Rebellion Festival sucks. It doesn't. There's a lot of great bands that play on things like that. There's also a lot of shit bands that are headlining that, and they're weak. They're not fucking real. They're pasteurized. It's so fucking pasteurized. It's like, as soon as I hear it, I want to fucking leave. It's so bad, like bad punk rock is like, it's like kryptonite to me. It makes me want to fucking leave. I just can't. I can't hear it. And you go to these big fucking festivals, and it's like, okay, so there's 60 fucking bands playing all weekend. 3 of them are getting paid, plus all the fucking promoters, and no one hears the other fucking 57 bands that fucking played or whatever it is. Nobody's hearing them because there's so much shit going on that no one can actually pay attention to anybody's fucking set.
Right.
So again, I don't mind. Like, I would go and play. Apparently we are playing one of these big festivals. I'm not going to be there because they fucking moved it on me to where I can't be there. But the rest of the band is supposedly going to be there. It's like, what are you going to get out of it? We're not going to get paid anything. It's not that getting paid is important, right? I don't do this for money. I've never done this for money. We've never done this for money. But it'd be nice if maybe our fucking flights could get paid for, not because we're that important, but because we got to take time off our fucking jobs to like go out and play these fucking things. I would rather just go play 3 fucking dates with like, one of the bands that's out there, Dug in the Slugs, like hook up with them and go play 3 fucking shows with them. We would make more money off of that. We wouldn't make a killing, but we would make enough to pay for our flights back and forth. And maybe that means that we could do it more often. I would love to go play the West Coast. I would love to go play Germany. Germany would love to have Broken Heroes out there. And I see our stats. I know what's what. So that's the state of the punk scene. The state of the punk scene is don't fit in any fucking boxes. Let it go. Right? If you're down there in some fucking chop zone, you're not punk rock. All right, you're just an asshole. That's really the reality of it, because you're not accepting of others. Be accepting of others. That's the most important punk rock thing you could do. The skinhead world, boy. Oh my God, what has happened there? Now, granted, I came up in a very, 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 very violent time of American skinhead boy world. So my view of it may be a little bit more nasty than some. All right. England had their time. Their time was a little bit earlier in the 80s. Skinheads were incredibly fucking violent, and it got really bad for them too. And not only that, I will say that when my time came along and we were going on, it got so violent that it became a problem, because there was a time when Broken Heroes couldn't play a fucking show that didn't end in a riot. And we weren't the last band.
Yeah.
Like, we would get on stage and that would be it. It would fucking kick off. And I was like, dude, what are we singing that's like pissing people off? It wasn't us. It was just the vibe and the heat that would grow, and it would just go. So too much is too much. At the same time, and this doesn't mean all of them, but it's a lot of them, it's become fucking cosplay. You got your fucking little Vespa, and you got a whole fucking closet full of Ben Shermans and Fred Perrys, and you got 2 pairs of you got 10 pairs of Doc Martens, but they're either oxblood or they're black, and they're always perfectly fucking shined, and of varying sizes of holes that you got to have. And it's like, dude, how many flight jackets do you have? How many fucking flight jackets do you have? I had one black one for any time and at any point. I had one pair of boots, back in my day. And it's because I couldn't afford to have all that. Now, a lot of these guys, they can't fight their way out of a fucking paper bag. It's fucking cosplay. And if you're looking at this, if you're watching this and you're saying, wow, that kind of sounds like me. Sorry, dude. It might be you. But whatever. I mean, if that's, again, I'm going back to the punk rock thing. If that's what makes you happy and you can live with that, then do it. Be you. But at the same time, I see it and it's like, Jesus Christ. It's not what it was. Look at some of these other fucking things that were going on back in the day. I mean, that fucking show down in DC where there's just the fucking riots and the violence and whatnot. It's like, but it's not so much that it's not as violent as it used to be. It's that you're still singing about shit like that. And you've never experienced it. So it's not fucking real. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You've experienced it. Joel, you're one of the most peaceful motherfuckers I know, and you have seen some shit. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have. I know. I've been there with you. And some of these kids have never seen anything like that. So that's what makes it kind of cosplay. So while I appreciate... Have you heard the band Skinhead lately? Oh, no. Oh, you're going to fucking love this shit. It describes my fucking childhood to a T in lyrics. It is not well written. The music is well written. The lyrics is just fucking ultra violent, awful shit. It's like, there's a song called RSVP by the band Skinhead. That reminds me of me and Sean and Bob and Scott and Garrett and fucking all these guys. And we would show up to a house. We heard about a party that was going on. We would show up to a house and just fucking wreck the place and steal all the fucking beer and take all the girls. And we would all fucking leave. And we would like kick holes in the walls and just fucking... RSVP, listen to it, dude. I guarantee you'll be laughing your ass off because it's my childhood. It really is. What was it? One of the fucking lines they had, they said, thanks for having us. We'll see you next. Thanks for the invite. We'll see you next weekend. Yeah, I know we dress real nice, but fuck your house. We're cretins. How fucking great is that? Anyway. Check it out. It's very funny. But if you ever want to know like what it was to be a skinhead in the 90s, if you listen to shit like that, that's kind of what it was like. I mean, sometimes they go a little bit to the point where, all right, not all of it was quite that violent, but some of it was easily that violent. Do you remember? You were there.
And look, I didn't throw many punches, if any, back then, but I was in those rooms.
Yes, you were.
Oh, there's a chair, and Christ, the clubhouse fights, the pipeline fights, the Boots and Braces show where the entire club got into a fist fight and piled out into the street. That stands out to me. The anti-flag show at the pipeline where they had to be escorted out. It was getting bad.
We were some patriotic motherfuckers back then, man. The punk rockers included. We were one, skins and punks together, always in New Jersey.
Well, if you ever want to reunite, so a common enemy makes the best of friends, right?
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it was crazy. But you know what? It was also fucking fun. I mean, I was 16, 17-ish when I first started going around. And it was that sense of what's going to happen tonight. See, that's it, Pete. That's something else that's missing. The element of what's going to happen tonight. You fucking know what you're going to get now.
Yep.
I mean, Christ, even in the 90s going, I know, New York City 90s.
Buying beers, that's for fucking sure.
What's that?
You're going to get raped buying beers, that's for fucking sure.
Well, I mean, CB's in the 90s was still a bit rough,
Oh yeah,
honestly. People are like, oh, it was worse in the 70s. I'm sure it was, but
in the
everything
late
changed.
80s, I right before they closed, I watched somebody get stabbed outside.
Yeah.
Fight broke out, and I don't remember what was it. I can't remember what show it was. It was somebody maced somebody on the inside. They got thrown out, and like two punk rockers got into it with some other dude. Fucking stabbed him.
Yeah.
Common.
Yep. Yep.
CBs plus CBs.
Now, if you go to the Bowery now, which I would recommend people do because Jesse's got the Bowery Electric there in New York, which is
And you get great brunch. Oh, the brunch is incredible.
to that point. I've shared this story in other interviews. I went to the Bowery Electric to see Fang and Antidote.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, yeah. So I go by the old CB's, which is Varvatos now, and I
Yeah.
walked in and the place, is not the same, but I heard the creak of the wood on my feet, and I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. But I went to where the stage was. Obviously, that's in the past now. Um, but I'm walking down the street by the Bowery Electric. Aside from seeing fucking Johnny Stiff sitting there on the stoop, it's all changed. Like there's a fucking freestanding ATM in the street on the Bowery, on the fucking Bowery. I'm like,
Right.
and a block down to 7-Eleven. So I went to get something at the 7-Eleven. I was paying cash that day, so I don't know why my grasp was fucked up with the money, but I pulled out some cash and all my cash spilled out on the ground at 7-Eleven. And I'm wearing a suit jacket, and I'm thinking, and no one gave a fuck. I just scooped it up and paid and walked out. I'm thinking, if this had been 20 plus years ago, let's say 30 years ago, Broken Heroes would be planning my memorial fucking benefit because it's a different time now. And I miss the fact that back in the day, you know, where do you park? Oh, by the snarling dog that's chained up against the fence, or the crack addict will tell you
remember,
where to go. Yes.
remember the gas station?
Yep.
That fucking place. Holy shit. I played there a couple times. And the last time I told Tim, I was like, Tim, don't book me at that fucking place again. I am not going back there. Dude, the fucking crazy drug addicts all over the fucking street and people whipping bottles at us from the fucking top of the buildings and shit. I mean, what a fucking mess that place was. And it was like, oh, so yeah, Gigi Allen died. Oh, really? Oh, that fucking sucks. Yeah, he played his last show and then he overdosed. Oh, really? Where was it? Gas station. Figures. All right, that makes sense. You know.
And for the younger folks watching this video, Live Nation was not the promoter of punk rock shows back in the time we're talking about. Just so you
Right.
promoters had names like Anthony Trance, Emilio. Those
Anthony
were the
Trance.
promoters. Jack
Trance was fun.
Monahan.
Yes, yes, yes. Jacko. Fucking, one of the best memories I have, speaking of good men who are gone, Anthony Trance, he used to book us at Pipeline all the time. And I remember we played the Pipeline, and I don't know what the fuck Tim and I were thinking, but like Tim had all these extra fucking cabinets. So we showed up and like did a wall of fucking cabinets behind us of and hooked them all up. And we played so fucking loud. Anthony left the fucking building because we played so loud. He's like, Jesus Christ, guys, I had to fucking leave because you guys were too fucking loud. Oh my God. Fucking Trance. Cheers, Trance.
Yes, cheers. And I'll be having more pipeline videos with Emilio coming up soon on this channel.
I'm
Uh,
looking I watched the first one. It was very enjoyable.
yeah, he's an easy interviewer. All you gotta do is hit record. You're set.
I'll be honest with you, like I've been sitting here doing this thing, and I'm like, All right, Joel hasn't said anything in a while. Am I rambling like fucking Leo?
Hey, it ain't my job to talk. It's my guests. That's
That's
why.
true.
But kids, the overriding message here is be dangerous.
Yes, and be yourself, and don't
Yeah,
fit in the fucking boxes. If
yeah,
you don't fucking buy into something, don't pretend to. Just do you, man. I will. Even in my professional life, I would prefer people to be themselves. Don't try to be something you're not. Be true. Always be true. You
and
know?
take risks and take risks and try new things because
Yeah,
you by being who you are, you're going to set up a flare, and you're going to find the right people.
correct.
If you're true to yourself, you will find your people. I've always believed that because Christ, 30 years on, we're still talking, You're going to find your own scene, but be an individual. Don't play into the scene. And if you don't feel comfortable in a scene, fucking be your own scene.
I
And
always told I always told my son that, and to be honest with you, he fucking did it. I told him, I said, don't be a fucking follower, be a leader, right? By saying don't be be a leader, I don't mean be a bully. I mean be somebody that people want to hang out with,
yeah,
be somebody that people want to be like. And he did it. My son in Hopatcong, New Jersey, he fucking the skateboarding. He was a big skater. He is a big skater, and it kind of fell apart in that town. And the skate park went to shit. Like they had a skate park, and it went to shit and whatnot. He actually built it back up. Got a bunch of kids that started following him, start skating more, and like now he's got he had this whole big crew before he went away to school. He had this whole big crew, and he actually met with the mayor to fucking work on trying to make the skate park better, and they did. And I was like, dude, you fucking did it. I was like, that's the meat of everything. Is you weren't a follower. You didn't wait for shit to happen. You made shit happen. That's the best part in the world. So when it comes to anybody, nobody young is watching this, but like if they're watching this, please fucking, like Joel said, be dangerous and go out there and push boundaries. Don't listen to other people's ideas. Make your own ideas. You know, I guarantee you, I have some fucking ideas that are not, savory to, or what is savory? Is that a fucking word? Probably not. Whatever. They're not savory to anybody. But whatever. They're my fucking ideas. Who cares?
yeah, 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 absolutely, absolutely. And avoid and while we're talking on YouTube, that's probably going to be shared on social media. Get off of social media once in a while. Fuck that.
Yeah, real connections are important. They really are. And we get too dependent on it, myself included. I mean, I get on Facebook. Well, Facebook for me is dick and fart jokes, but like, uh, you know, you get so dependent on. And COVID didn't help any of us with that. I was at work and a coworker was talking, and we were talking about COVID and what happened during COVID, and it's like he's like, I have friends that like, COVID happened, they went home and they stayed home and they never came back out again.
Mm.
And it's like, yeah, man, like that, it was an emotional toll on all of us for that shit. Like there was a lot of bad stuff that happened with that. Uh, so get out there, connect with your friends, be close to them, you know? Then one day, 30, 40 years down the road, you'll be having a pig roast. You'll be like, oh, fucking holy shit. Can you believe who's here? You know? Can you believe Bob Gardner showed up? Did you see him? And he's just as fucking loudmouth, obnoxious as he's always been. I fucking love Bob. He's a
That
fucking.
was great, man. That was so much fun. It's so cool
He's
to
like,
see.
maybe because I'm an asshole. I'm like,
Well, I saw people there I hadn't seen in 20 years,
oh yeah,
I mean, that's the magic of it, you know. And that again, that's why I do this series, man. It's like let's bring some people on, talk about this history, because
it
it
is
means a lot to
history.
people. The pipeline meant something to people. The old Broken Heroes days in the 90s meant things to people. Blank 77,
A
all
couple people anyway.
yeah, yeah, people in a couple of states at least get it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Some Pennsylvania people heard about us, maybe Connecticut.
Yeah, a few here and there. Well, listen, man, we've been at this over 2 hours.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
My wife will kill me. All right. So, Joel, thank you so much for all this. I'm sorry it ran so long and I probably fucking rambled way too much, but I really fucking enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, me too. I really, really appreciate you coming on. And like I said, we can't give Tim all the attention, so I had to get someone
No,
else.
I was going to ask you that. Wait, how long was Tim's thing?
Oh, we're a good 45 minutes longer than Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Well,
Gotcha, Tim.
you don't have a cat in your video. He had a cat, so he wins.
He had a cat?
He had a cat turn up on his video.
Dude, you can't trust cats. Don't trust cats. Be yourself, connect with your friends, don't play cosplay and be real, and fuck cats.
That's a good note to leave on.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, dude. We'll do it again soon.
Yes.
Take care.
See ya.